main character's little uncle takes him to a workhouse to find servants and attendants, and they're able to find a couple of them, but still not enough to run a household and run the lands. But they still are able to find a few of them. Also, that thing his paternal family was talking about was mulberries and bees. But yes, his little uncle's able to find the mulberries, bring them along, and he finds a beekeeper to take care of the bees. So yes, that is taken care of thanks to the little uncle. So in book 1, the little uncle was kind of half on the decision of moving in or not moving in because he wanted away from his sister-in-law. Because again, he does not like that woman. She is very controlling and very horrible, and he just wants away from her. And he wanted to move in with the main character. And so he finally does decide to move in with the main character. And he decides to become the main character's work partner and help pay for stuff. Like, he is paying for half of everything with the main character, which, puts the whole money situation down for the main character. It's not as bad thanks to his uncle helping pay for stuff. The water wheel is finally completed, and everyone was super pleased and very happy when water started coming down on the land. They were like, yes, finally water. We have water. We have a water source. They used bamboo piping to connect the water wheel and the canal to other locations and sections of the land to provide water to those sections of land. So yes, they have now water, good usable water to take care of the land. Yes! The main character and his uncle had talked about tea samplings before, and the uncle had promised to get those for the main character, but he had to fight the sister-in-law who was refusing to allow the little uncle to take the tea samplings, and he's like, yeah, she doesn't have any control over me. We're not using the samplings. My brother, the eldest uncle, was refusing to use them this entire time, and he's like, they're going to waste. I am taking them and I'm giving them to the main character. I don't care what this woman thinks. I'm doing this for my nephew. Just because she didn't like my sister does not mean she can be a bee about it. Ha! So the main character, he finally visits home. There he finds out that there is a war or fight going on between two countries or two sections of land. I'm not sure, but I know the barbarians are involved. I was completely, utterly confused about this part. It gives you like 4 sections of these 4 things that are going on, and my brain just could not connect. We all know from Ballad of Sword and Wine and Golden Terrence, when it comes to war stuff, my brain cannot comprehend. Like, I am not very smart. I had reread that scene so many times, and I still do not understand what is going on. All I know is that the third prince was sent to the war to take care of the fight. Like, this man is sent to command it, which is super unfair for him, honestly, and it's supposed to be, in a way, a punishment for him, which I don't know why he needs to be punished, but he's being kind of punished by sitting there. Like, you could get the idea that his father's sitting in there to test him, but in actuality, as the book progresses, it's shown that his father practically sent him there to die. So he will not be in his brother's way, and if he survives, it will teach him to stay in his lane and not try to take the throne from his brother. So the main character gets into a fight with his father when it comes to the third prince, because the father knows the main character's relationship with the third prince, and he does not like it and tells the main character to stay away from the third prince, cut off his relationship with the third prince, because it will not be good for him in the future when the crown prince is emperor, because again, the crown prince will take this as an offense that his relationship with the third prince, if he thinks the main character's in the third prince's faction, and will do everything in his power to ruin the main character and harm the main character, and the main character's future as an official will be ruined. And the main character's like, yeah, no, I'm not cutting off my relationship with the dude. I am not doing that. Which gets him into a fight with his father. Like, they argue, and his father literally threatens to disown him over it, because again, if the main character causes an offense to the crown prince, it will be seen as his entire clan causing an offense to the crown prince. So his father doesn't want himself to be, caused into this situation, so he tells the main character to kind of F off his relationship with the third prince. And the main character's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. F off yourself, dude. F off. A letter from the third prince arrives. It's like perfect timing to when the main character's father tells him to cut off his relationship with the third prince. And it's the third prince telling him not to write to him until he arrives to the location that he's fighting in, because again, he doesn't want the main character dragged into it. He doesn't want the main character to be harmed or cause an offense towards the crown prince. Like, he wants to protect the main character, and by doing that, they have to keep their relationship on the download, that they won't write to each other until he arrives to the battlefield. And until then, he won't write to the main character either. And I'm like, that's just like perfect timing. Honestly, it's make me wonder if the dad had, writing the letters to the third prince and had the third prince promise not to write to the main character and he arrives to the battlefield. But at the same time, good on the third prince trying to do his best protecting the main character, but at the same time, I'm also very suspicious of the third prince. Especially when the story continues on, I get a little more suspicious of him. The third prince does sooner or later arrive to the battlefield and starts writing letters back and forth to the main character. And during their writing the letters, he's basically always telling the main character about his issues and problems and what he's facing during the battle. And the main character uses his own knowledge because he starts reading more, he's studying more, and because of the male lead, and sooner or later he gets a teacher, and that teacher also gives the main character perfect advice that the main character could send to the third prince to help the third prince in his battle. The third prince sends a group of refugees to the main character for the main character to take under his care and protection and give these people work, and the main character does give all of them work. He now has all the servants and tenants he needs thanks to the third prince sending him the refugees. But at the same time, the main character is stressing because he barely has any money. His uncle is also running out of money. Like, they're both grinding their teeth waiting for the harvest to be completed, but with more workers, they can harvest more work. But still, it is very stressing for the main character. He has his tenants and servants, but at the same time, he's like, where's the money? The money's gone. So I forgot to say this when I was talking about book 1, and it's really apparent in book 2. The main character has himself a student, a pupil the main character is taking care of. This person was one of the original land tenants that wanted to leave, not just because the rent was down, but because he wanted to go to the capital to take the exams, and he wanted to be able to study to take those exams, and the main character's like, I'll take you under my wing. I will help you. And this person's also connected to the master who helped the main character build the water wheel. So yes, the main character has himself a student that helps him connected the relationship with that master. 2 or 3 of the main character's servants, I'm not really sure which ones it is. I think it's just 2, but it could be 3, are studying under the male lead with martial arts. And over the years, they become very brilliant in it. They're still, lacking in areas, but they're improving over the years and proving themselves. Since the servants and the land tenants are taking care of the land and the household, the main character doesn't have anything himself to do unless he goes out and helps them with the harvest off and on, because again, he's working himself in the harvest too. He's not just leaving it to his land tenants and his servants. He's going out and doing the work himself. He's checking anything. He's providing the things they need. He's making sure everything is well done. But still, he has stuff he isn't able to do himself, and so he's staying home and studying, which he didn't do those 3 years his dad sent him to the capital to stow, but now since he really has nothing to do, he's going to study. And he studies as well as he can do. He decides he's going to take the perfectional exam, and he goes and takes it with his pupil. And while they're taking the exam, they find the main character's older brother is also taking the exam. The dude basically got bought into the exam and later found out their father paid someone off to kind of take the test for the main character's older brother. They all 3 pass. The main character and his pupil pass because of their own abilities and skills, and the older brother passed because someone was bought off to take the exam for him. The main character is also the highest ranking person to take the exam this year. Very impressive.